Your wish is my command. Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be reviewing our first request on this channel, Terrifier. Now, just to preface this before we get started, I'm not too sure if I'm going to be reviewing the rest of the series. For the sake of this review, I'm going to be reviewing just this movie by itself. So let's jump right into it. So, the plot is very simple, I would say. At the beginning of the movie, we meet a victim of Art the Clown. Her face is totally mangled, similar to Travis the Chimp's survivor victim in terms of her face being totally deformed. So the whole mystery is, who is this victim and how does she survive? We then meet Art the Clown, who stalks two teens as well as some occupants in an apartment complex, and he kills them in very brutal fashion. The final girl being someone who was actually called earlier in the movie to pick up her sister at the apartment complex because they had to go to the bathroom as there wasn't any publicly around. But this movie is mostly well known for it being a very borderline slasher torture porn movie, similar to if you were to take the Saw or Hostel franchise but cross it over but with the Hellraiser franchise, or something closer to like the Friday the 13th franchise in terms of like blending the two. Let's talk about the most important part, the bloody, gory, disgusting kills. I thought they were very well done, very good, very gory and disgusting, I would say. I thought some of them did drag out very long and they were very sadistic. I know that was the point of the movie, but it just wasn't really my cup of tea personally. Not because it wasn't well done, it's just not my thing. Typically, when it comes to me, I like my kills, I guess, like in slashers or like games, kind of like Mortal Kombat or something like that. Something to be kind of quick and like maybe within less than a minute or something like that. But regardless, I had to give credit where it's due that the film was very well shot and very well paced and edited. It was suspenseful. It wasn't very jump scary, but it was very creepy. Art the Clown's performance, it was pretty good. It, I think, was the highlight of this movie, and I think out of all the performances, Art the Clown had the most difficult job because his character doesn't speak at all, but his body language and how he animates his face is very expressive, I would say. But the other performances, they were pretty decent, I would say. I definitely did like the homeless woman and her doll baby thing, but they weren't very amazing, at least in my opinion. Some of the writing was pretty generic, but it knew what it was going for. It knew you were there for the bloody, gory, disgusting content and didn't really care and you wanted to fast forward to the good parts. I guess if we're talking on kills, my favorite being the hacksaw one. It was the most painful. It was actually very painful to watch, even as a guy. Like, it was just disturbing and disgusting and horrifying to watch that scene. Another thing I actually would like to give a highlight to is the soundtrack. The soundtrack I really liked. I love the soundtrack. It sounded something like that would fit any slasher at the time, I guess of the 80s and the 90s with the synth or whatever musical instrument they use. I really like that a lot. That's actually one of my favorite type of music, I guess I would say. What would I rate this movie? I would have to, it's nothing amazing, I would say. I would have to give it at least a 5 out of 10. As the bloody, gory, disgusting parts, the cinematography, the editing, and the music, I think, made up for this movie's lack of performances that really stood out. And the premise of Art the Clown as a concept was really good, especially towards the end. I'm not too sure if there's any deeper meaning behind this movie. There probably isn't, but it was still really well shot, very well executed, I would say. Personally, not my cup of tea, but definitely someone else's cup of tea. But what would you rate this movie? Let me know down in the comments down below, and I hope to see you soon.